A friend's sister bullied me for 20 years. I eventually responded to her attacks, and half our friends want me to apologize. But I refused, starting a massive battle. Background: my 33F friend Beth, 34F, has a 38F sister who has loathed me since we met. She always called me a crazy freak and said I deserved school bullying for being a geek. Due to Jill, I stopped visiting Beth's house and didn't see her again until her 18th birthday, when she claimed I was bothering her boyfriend. I only said hello since I was too unattractive and odd to attract my own guy. She left soon after, and I was pleased to be rid of her. Now, Beth and I made a dinner reservation with Liz, 33F, Kelly, 34F, and Megan, 34F, our other 3 group members. This was our first genuine chance to see each other in almost 2 years for a variety of reasons, and we were all excited to catch up. Beth offered to take Kelly and me to the restaurant. We can't drive, and I have CFS and many chronic pains, so traveling is difficult. Jill answered the door to Beth's flat after we took a bus together, shocking us. Since we had a bad relationship with Jill, Beth should have told us she was visiting. Still, we were courteous. I replied, "Hello Jill, wonderful to see you. How have you been?" Kelly admired her clothing. Jill disregarded Jelly and said, "Better than you, still a pale freak, aren't you?" Unfortunately, I shouted at her that at least I'm not a bitter hag holding grudges from a 12-year-old. Maybe you should mature. Jill went off yelling for Beth and claimed she wouldn't take us anywhere unless CT apologized, which bewildered me and Kelly. Why would she? Beth came out and said her car was broken, so Jill was supposed to drive us. I shouldn't have been nasty to her sister, but that's Jill's humor. Kelly called Jill a bully and said she was shocked I hadn't snapped years earlier and ordered me not to apologize. I denied doing so. Beth remarked, "You can get to the restaurant on your own," and kicked us out. Kelly and I called Liz and Megan to let them aware that we'd be late due to the split cab fare. Beth is siding with Jill. So Liz believed I should apologize to reduce tension, but Megan thought this was long overdue and Jill had it coming, so Beth needed to recognize her sister's actions have repercussions. I refused to apologize and we took a taxi, only to find Beth was leaving over what I said to Jill. 1 week ago, Beth won't talk to anyone but Liz, who told her she blamed me, unless I apologized to her sister. AITA? Comments? Thank you, Beth and Jill. I felt insane watching Liz and Beth's reactions, and Kelly and I didn't understand why Beth didn't warn us. She knows our history with Jill is bad. I appreciate your comment, but I'm considering cutting Beth off if she keeps acting this way. Writing this has made me realize I've been too forgiving of Beth, especially Jill. Her and I will definitely break up. Thanks for commenting on their history. Beth and I had been friends since I was 12, and she was one of the few people in our year group who didn't bully me. Since Liz, Megan, and Kelly are her pals, it's simpler to tolerate her. The situation is ludicrous, and I'm considering cutting Beth off and dealing with the aftermath. Who keeps 30 years of drama? This is weird because she acted just like this in school. I don't get her or her goals. Nobody intervened when a 17-year-old bullied a 12-year-old. Yay, Beth and Jill's family behaving like it was harmless fun, and my family was so caught up in school bullying that I didn't tell them about Jill's comments because it was so small compared to what I endured. Beth has opened my eyes to her and Liz's role in this, and I think it's time to cut them off, but Liz will get one last chance to apologize. What's so fantastic about being her friend? I've been thinking about your questions for a few minutes and can't think of anything I've missed about Beth in the 2 years since we last saw each other. Our group? Plenty, but not Beth. As we've gotten older, we've fought more, especially about my health, and I've bit my tongue for our group. But I need to tell Meg and Kelly I'll be breaking contact with Beth and Liz. AITA 4376, yes, NTA. She always bullied. Any apology is unacceptable. Beth understands who her sister is and supported her when Jill did wrong. Shame on Beth. Unrepentant squirrel, Beth wasn't your buddy and didn't support you. She and Jill are us, and you deserve better. Unrepentant squirrel. Beth isn't just in a hole for not having your back, it's unforgivable that she allowed her sister to talk to her like that, and it's perplexing that she expected you to apologize. Though losing a buddy hurts, you're better off without Beth. Matt Davies, Beth hasn't changed in 21 years. Why do you think it will change? Bordatham 1962. NTA, she may give but not receive. They're not apologized to. Beth isn't a 2. What a duo. 38 and running to 34 because another 34 mistreated her. You called this playground fight. Beware, Beth. She did this by not telling you Jill was coming. Correct, AITA 4376, agreed. She then supported her sister, who was clearly incorrect. Over the past few years, I've learned that individuals who suggest not to apologize because it shows weakness are right. Actually, it's about not getting walked on. I thought it was a borderline psychotic power play. Since did nothing wrong, Apologizing would be like confessing I'm a doormat and you can walk on me. If you've done something wrong, apologize, but not to appease others. After my last post, several of you requested me to inform you on my decision. Thank you to everyone who told me I wasn't insane. I appreciate your support because Liz and Beth's desire that I apologize was making me doubt myself. Most of you also noted that Beth enabled Jill and Liz expected me to roll over for peace. I've realized that our group has played peacekeeper to Beth and Liz for years, benefiting myself, Megan, and Kelly. As for the update, Liz has been texting and calling me, saying I was out of order, and owe all three of them apologies for my behavior and for dragging things out. Beth hasn't responded. She even offered I take everyone, including Jill, to a restaurant and pay for everything to make up. I don't want to spend a month's rent on their beverages bill. And I haven't done anything wrong. I was more convinced to cut her off when she recommended this. I informed Megan and Kelly last night that I'm not apologizing to Jill. She's trapped in high school mean girl mode, and I'd rather not see her again. I'm tired of suppressing my sentiments to avoid tension, because Liz and Beth never apologize, so I'm discontinuing touch with them. Disbanding the group was expected to spark demonstrations. Megan surprised me by saying she only stuck with Liz for so long because, like Beth, Liz was one of her only friends during her bullied years, and she didn't want to cause trouble. Kelly may explain that she's been sick of Liz and Beth treating the three of us like inferiors for years but was afraid to say anything. She'd lose Megan and me. We finally talked about how we feel about this group and concluded that Beth and Liz are not our pals. Kelly and Megan showed me Beth and Liz's messages, portraying me as a devil trying to wreck their lives. Liz telling them of how I ruined her wedding by not going due to my selfish emergency surgery made me giggle. 5 years later, I learned that I spoiled things when reception guests inquired about my health, distracting from her big day. I'm terrible for this. We're cutting all contact. I don't see Jill, Beth, or Liz vanishing quietly from our lives once they understand we're not going to play ball, so we're organizing a zoo trip next week to enjoy a day out without stress. Comments, Aqua Venatus, conversation reveals great things. However, Jill, Beth, and Liz have clearly profited from this sham for years. Kelly and Megan now know everything. 3 of them can avoid the other 3 forever and live without drama. Corgi Hunter. Good. 4. This is great news since you 3 have many happy times ahead. NTA. Truly, Harry Potter Freak 23. I'd change all your numbers so they can't harass you with other numbers. To reach you, I'll tell Kelly and Megan about your suggestion, Sleepy Chickop. I just blocked Liz and Beth. Since updating my medical information, work, friends, and family would be a headache. If they harass me, I'll change my number. Queen Legolas, good job defending yourself. Beware, they'll make a big deal, possibly online. You may encounter flying monkeys. Thank you, Sleepy Chickop, we're preparing for anything. I've warned my family and friends about flying monkeys in case they try to attack me. I don't have much social media other than an old FB page I use to keep in touch with friends and family abroad, so reaching me online is difficult. Kelly and Megan are more active, eliminating contacts and barring Beth and Liz supporters. We're trying to remain ahead. Macaroni capitalized culprit 42. Since I was done being an adolescent, I'll never understand grown-ups who act like immature toddlers with an undeveloped frontal lobe. Some reach that peak literally. Because they were attractive, popular, liked, or didn't want to be bullied in high school, they think they're great. Since they had nothing else, they lose everything when they lose those goods or others outgrow or weary of their shit. They keep their glory days thinking, I'm still awesome as in high school. Everyone else is wrong now for the following tale. Story 2. Wife suddenly wanted divorce. After discovering their affair, I told their supervisor and dismissed them. She needs my support because she's unemployed and her new boyfriend wants to go. My soon-to-be ex-wife, 28, and I had been together for 7 years. We were married 5 years. Although our professions prevented us from having children, we had many other exciting ideas for our future. In our 7 years together, we never disagreed about our course or future aspirations. My wife got a new job in February and met this 38-year-old coworker. After 2 weeks of training, she came home and started talking to this guy. I've never felt envious, and I know our field is male-dominated, so she's often with men. I never doubted her loyalty or boundaries. I noticed she texted this guy a lot. She reassured me that he's simply a friend when I raised my worries twice in March. There were shared interests, like being Christians and talking about the Bible. I'm not religious. She even threatened to stop talking to him if I felt uncomfortable, although I knew they were training together again at the end of March. I didn't press the subject because I knew she'd talk to him anyway. I always asked my wife if she was pleased in our marriage and what I might do to improve it. She never criticized me, and as recently as mid-March, she called me the finest thing happening to her. Things changed when she left for a month of job training in a distant location at the end of March. In the beginning, we got along, but by the week, we were fighting a lot. I was emotional and going through personal issues, so I'm partly to blame. However, something else bothered me. She seemed remote and had bizarre future predictions that weren't her. We rarely argued, so this made me anxious. I don't remember our last huge battle before April. It's been complicated and difficult for us, knowing how important it was for her. I felt guilty about clashing with her. We were fighting over her not setting boundaries with this guy from work, and I could tell he liked her romantically. She said we need time to think about our relationship and future. She said she loved me, but things had changed. I didn't understand, but I respected her need for space. After 2 days, she announced her divorce via FaceTime. It was upsetting, and I didn't understand the situation, but I had a feeling she may leave with this other guy. A roller coaster of emotions and uncertainties for me. I picked her up at the airport in mid-May when she returned home. Something seemed off when I saw her. After a month and a half apart, she didn't hug me. She didn't unpack the luggage. When we got home, that first night she looked me in the eyes and said she wanted a divorce and no longer loved me. Although it was difficult and unpleasant, I tried to resolve the issue in hopes that our disputes and my emotional ups and downs had affected her. She changed her behavior the next day. She wanted to clean the house and make memories in the last few days before leaving. I checked her phone for the first time in 7 years because I felt like she was hiding something. I discovered that before she returned home, she was dating that coworker guy and had signed a lease to move in together. This was a month and a half after she left home in March. She promised him she would give up everything to start over with him. The shocking news wounded and puzzled me even more. I still regret going through her phone because it was something I'd never done in our relationship and felt like I broke a line. At that moment, I took screenshots of her talks with the coworker and pretended nothing happened to see how far she would go with her lies. I kept asking her about her and this coworker for days, but she never answered honestly. Finally, that night I became furious and enraged and demanded the truth. She blamed me for my problems, stating we couldn't be together. She lied during our furious fights. She left that night, and when she did, I texted her all my screenshots and said I knew everything. I told her I was testing her dishonesty to see how far she would go. She contended that it wasn't infidelity because they started dating after she mentioned divorce. She stated she had wanted out of the relationship for a long time, but was waiting for the proper time since she saw me as controlling and violent. Seeing her depart, and knowing it might be my last time with her was one of my hardest times. I begged her to be honest and honor our marriage till the end. I don't understand how she changed so radically so quickly after being a great wife for 7 years. I'm still confused and curious. After wife left, I immediately engaged a divorce lawyer. I gave her the house, cars, and money, but she didn't want them. She just wanted to finish, not wanting to divorce, but I couldn't risk her altering her mind, so I did. Since I have the signed paperwork back, it's underway. It's been hard, but I'm trying to keep going. Before leaving, I wanted her to learn something. Her actions damaged me, and I was upset. I resolved to act without harming my character. I created a PDF from her coworker conversation screenshots. I sent it to their boss. I hoped this would help them comprehend their conduct and respect others in the future. Suddenly, they were sacked from the company. Great way to start their romance. I didn't want to lower myself to her level and tarnish my reputation, even if her adultery harmed me. After she told me she wanted a divorce 2 months ago, I'm doing much better. My soon-to-be ex has been pleading for mercy. She informed me she's been having difficulties finding a job and that her boyfriend is considering splitting up with her because she cost him his job. She's insane if she believes I'll help her. I've been striving to reinvent myself and improve myself. We both had flaws, as did our relationship. But how rapidly everything changed hurt me most. She left our marriage after 2 months and moved in with a new person. It's hard to understand how someone new in her life could erase all our memories, everything we established, and future plans overnight. But I've realized that obsessing on the past won't help me go forward. Instead, I want to focus on my blessings and future prospects. I'm learning to accept that some things are beyond of my control and working for a bright future. I believe I'll heal and find new joys over time.